right, it's 1:05. I'm going to get started. Creates pathways to financial stability and increases opportunity, fostering a more equitable society. So higher education, for the purpose of it, is for financial stability, employment opportunities. So our mission is dedicated to collecting and consolidating the input from people and organizations nationwide to develop a policy platform designed to advance access to quality education inside prisons. We accomplish this by melding data, personal stories, policy research, and advocacy skills to deliver concise messages to governmental agencies and arms. And this is where we do our Hill Days events. In 2022, Unlock Higher Education experience, and by the way, these were the originals back in the day in 2017, the ones that, 2016, I believe, where you're looking at when the Pell Grant was passed. So these are our original group. And 2022, Unlock Higher Education experienced a renaissance through a coalition of national leaders from multiple organizations with a supported steering committee, revitalizing the organization by assembling a team of exceptionally talented chairs. If we can go on to our next picture, that was our group and what it looked like. And you see some of them on that picture from the prior picture, and some of them that are missing that were still also on that group. So there's been a hands off, and we kind of changed a bit, but we still look pretty much in the same climate of, the purpose of higher education, and our goals are exactly the same. And so in our supporting steering committee, we have individuals such as Jay Holder for NEC Columbia University, Stanley Andres from P2P, Jeff Abramowitz from the PD Green, William Freeman from Ed Trust, and more recently we have Sheila Mayman from NASPA. So we are growing in our steering committee, and we really want to have a strong steering committee, and we have in 2025 some people that will be added on as well. We revitalized the organization by assembling a team of exceptionally talented chairs. And our chairs currently include Jessica Snow and Mickey Saints from the Communications Media and Messaging Subcommittee. Then we have CC Riley from our State Subcommittee. Then we have Barbie Brown from the Federal Subcommittee. And we have Beth Conant from the Membership and Fundraising, and our newcomer, Trip Taylor, thank you for being here, from the Events Subcommittee. So we have been looking for additional support in those subcommittees, but keep in mind that these are positions and volunteer and ability to provide your talent to an organization that is growing. This leadership team sets out to rebuild the organization's membership and establish goals that align with the vision of the original founders. Their efforts focuses on stabilizing the organization's membership base, leveraging individual talents, and building a robust network to support UHE's advocacy and policy reform initiatives. The fiscal year of 2024, that was a year of expansion and outreach. So on our fiscal year for 2024, it marked a significant period of growth and expansion for UHE. The organization transitioned from focusing on leadership and membership development to broadening its impact and presence. Key milestones during this fiscal year included the return to the Capitol Hill. Unlock Higher Ed organized a successful Hill Day event, re-engaging policymakers and advocacy for higher education opportunities for justice-impacted individuals. Our local advocacy initiatives were the creation of marketing materials and resources for local Hill Day events, and state capitol further amplifies the organization's efforts. We did several asks, as a matter of fact, and some of them were access to higher education for individuals with disabilities, the loan forgiveness, the Pell Grant implementation, and oversight, and a couple more. Mickey, if you recall, I'm trying to look for our broader.
We discussed Pell Grant forgiveness.
Yes, Pell Grant forgiveness, which was the loan forgiveness, correct? I think I mentioned them all.
And we discussed DLL, disability services. We also discussed the idea of advancing education into prison systems. And
Correct.
then finally, we discussed Pell Grants and how successful they've been thus far. And we had some discussion. And we did this at a local level. What's remarkable here is typically our Hill days have been gone straight to Washington, D.C. This year, we actually engaged members and sent them all to state capitals to discuss with their legislators in a more intimate environment, thus building those relationships between our coalition members so that when we return to the Capitol in the future, they will already be more familiarized with what's going on, and it continues to amplify the voices forward that we are attempting to amplify for.
And again, this was the first step into these new asks. And so it's, work that just started from our perspective. And it needs to continue on. And like Mickey mentioned, we started at the federal level, and then we went on to our state so that we can start recruiting that support. And there were several organizations that supported this work, including, Petey Green was there. The Alliance was part of it. Barbie, I see you on board. You guys were also part of it. So there were several great organizations, entities supporting this work. So there was a membership of we had like 14 different organizations being represented with about, I think, how many of us were, like 30 altogether?
7. We had 7 major partners representing 35 organizations.
Correct. There you go. And we reached out to how many legislators during this event?
We reached out or visited 62 different legislators across the U.S.
Yes, so it was a great feat, and we're hoping that not only this is a starting point, that we can do something even bigger and better for next year. So National Conference of Higher Education in Prison, Unlock Hire's active participation in this event showcases leadership in the movement to expand education opportunities within correctional settings. And several of the events that we participated this past year included not only the national conference, but we also went to the NASPA convening in June, Stop the Stigma in March, Horizon Conference in July, the Rise Up Conference in September. And, we try to bring our voice and our membership and our group to any spaces that we feel that we can make a positive impact in ensuring that those legislative asks are pushed forward for resolution. Grants and funding. The organization began submitting grant proposals and expanding into outreach to ensure funding for its initiatives. Launching of the Unlock Higher Education, the YouTube channel. Oh, and let's not forget our speakers. So here we go, the speaker series. And I want to highlight the type of speakers we've had this year. It's been phenomenal. In January, we had Sheila from NASFA. In February, we had Charlie West from Open Campus. In March, we had Stacy from Jester. In April, we had the Ed Trust Fellows, Barbie as well. May, we had Angela Bennett from the U.S. Department of Commerce. In June, we had Jackie from Evolution Reentry. In July, we had Julia she was the ex-director of Department of Education for Puerto Rico. In August, we had Patrick from the Georgia Coalition for Higher Education in Prison. In September, we had the Rising Scholars, the Underground Scholars, and Project Rebound. In October, we had Nancy from P2P. And in November, we had Jessica and Alexandra from the Resilience Education. So we had several different speakers. We continue to grow in that area as far as bringing in the work that is being done across the board in our nation for this one place of platform of collaboration. So grants and fundraising, the organization began submitting grant proposals. We're hoping to expand in that so that it supports our outreach work. The launch of the Unlock Higher Education YouTube channel, and that's been a great success. And thank you, Mickey, our media and messaging subcommittee chairs. This platform has provided a new avenue to disseminate Unlock Higher Education's mission, engage broader audiences, and share impactful stories and resources. And if you want to participate and be part of any of these speaker series and be part of our YouTube channel, and if you have something to teach, something to give to this community of higher education, where we come together for best practices and to be informed, please, I urge you to submit your request for our speaker series. Our goal for fiscal year 2025. Any questions so far?
I think before we go into 2025, I left some room in for some of the committee chairs to be discussing their work, starting with the beautiful and amazing Barbie.
Also, absolutely. And so let me introduce you guys, Barbie. Barbie has been all over the place, really busy. And that's that she has been doing some amazing work, including receiving some honorable awards lately. So congratulations, Barbie, for that. Barbie is she started off as our state. I believe she's going to be heading now on our federal, which is great because that's in lines with exactly what she's doing. And Barbie has been an awesome addition to our membership. And not just that, she is our chair. Barbie has presented on our behalf and on behalf of many other organizations, including being involved in the Hill Day event in many places. And so I will leave it to Barbie to let you know what her journey has been like here in Unlock Higher Education.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you guys. So as Judith said, I did begin. I literally just popped up one day in a meeting and I'm like, I'm available. What are we doing here? And began in the state as a co-chair. So the journey with Unlock Higher Ed, I mean, it's really in the name, right? We're unlocking higher ed for everyone. That's the goal. On the federal level, we do that by attacking policies, by supporting policies if we ever have any to support at this point. And I think for the next 4 years, definitely, with regard to the federal committee, we're going to be watching to see what happens with the Department of Ed. I think that's going to be on the forefront, and we will plan from there. And this really a federal conversation is really what we do. I'm the director of policy and practice, so policy is what we have to pay attention to because that's what governs our practice, right? So at this federal level, we're going to pay a lot of attention to policy. I feel like we may be acting in defense quite a bit for the next few years, but we're going to have eyes on it, and we've always had a lot of work to do in this field. So we're going to continue that work through our federal committee as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Barbie, thank you for everything you do on the East Coast and abroad and all around the nation, actually, because the impact, it gets everywhere. And it's an asset to have platforms like this that we can all convene together and talk about those best practices so that everybody can learn and take it home and take it locally. And that's really is part of our goal. And then I'll bring it on to our next co-chair. And that it will be Sissy. I do not see Sissy. But Cece has she has headed the state with Barbie in the past. So now they're branching out. We were initially doing it all together. But now we're getting back to 2025 and our goals, pushing in not only at the federal level, but also at the state level, the work that we trying to pass. I know Sheila was also part of the federal at one point, but she moved on to the steering. So we were changing those allocations or support that is being headed to our committees. So Cece has been very instrumental in bringing in not only different states and the resources from different states, but also aware of what's going on at state levels at different states. So I think she's very fitting into making sure that she heads on this new work that we're going to try to do in 2025 from different perspectives and the differences that come and the challenges that come from different states. I can tell you, coming from the state of Florida, there's many challenges that we experience here. Sometimes I feel not only are we a different state, but we're a different country altogether. And so I always, mention that, and being that she's aware of the differences between many of the states, including Florida, she can guide us within those challenges to see how other states have been able to overcome it so that we can work on bringing that home as well. Our next co-chairs. Okay, so we have Mickey, our beloved Mickey, and Jessica. And Jessica, as you may know, she's also doing dual duty with Resilient Education. So she's been very supportive of our social media and supporting Mickey as well, who's really been a one-man show for not only for the media messaging, but many other areas. So we thank you for that, Mickey, and I'll leave the floor to you.
Well, we have an exciting year coming ahead. I think it's important to think in 2022, we didn't always generate the amount of traction that we wanted, but we have continued to build ourselves as an organization and as our messaging. We've discussed some of our flagship items, such as a speakers bureau, or such as a speakers discussion that we have every month, which led to our YouTube channels. We are continuing on social media, and not even Judith has heard this yet, but we are going to reestablish ourselves through the next year on Twitter, because we're just going to start a new Twitter account. I know that's been a little bit of a struggle, but we're continuing to expand. We are also expanding out separately as an organization from our fiduciary responsibility organization. Excuse me, I'm not always the brightest and use the biggest words, but I try. So you'll notice a lot of differences and changes as we move past, as we're organizing our own accounts on our own meetings and pushing forward into the future to show that we are our own organization that receives support. And we appreciate the support from Prison Cells PhD. They are amazing in what they do, and we could not have carried forward with what we did, but we also have to focus and push ourselves as a coalition force. And they've been vastly supportive of that, and we will continue through the year. We did not roll out the emails, which was a goal of this last year. We will be bearing down and focusing on those. We pushed as many goals as fast as we possibly could, including our grants, including our speaking opportunities, including our speaker series and our YouTube channel, but we will continue engaging and cementing ourselves as leaders in this industry. Thank you, Judith.
Awesome. Thank you for that recap, Mickey. And again, our goal is to expand so that we become a place and a space for collaboration for those who are focused on unlocking higher education for individuals inside and also individuals in the reentry journey, because it does take a toll even when you're home to be able to get access to those resources that are so necessary to succeed. And then our next newest, happy to say, subcommittee chair, Trip, and he is a subcommittee for the events. Trip?
Yeah, thanks, Judith. So I came on mid-year with the events subcommittee. I missed last year's Hill Day, but I am very excited to move forward and start planning this upcoming year's festivities, be it at the federal or local level. And yeah, so I'm super happy to be a part of this team and looking for the group to come together and make a difference for policy advocacy.
That's wonderful. And with all the changes in administration that are happening, it's going to be, as Barbie said, interesting year to see where we are and what we can push and where we're headed. But we continue to do the work. We continue to make some strides. They're not coming as quickly and as strong as we would like it, but this is hard work. Nobody is denying it, but we have a lot of individuals with a heart set in the right place that want to continue on and pushing this type of work. And then we have Beth Koenig. She is our membership subcommittee chair. Unfortunately, she's in some transitional life changes right now, so she wasn't able to be with us today, but she has been heading the membership subcommittee chair for 2024. And one of the major goals for this subcommittee is, again, to increase the participation. We have over I think close to 500, maybe even more now. I haven't checked recently. But over 500 members. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have that social capital, right? That we get that engagement. It's available, it's there. So we want to make sure that we have that membership active for this platform, and for, again, for the purpose of furthering and learning and educating others on best practices so that we can implement them, nationwide, because that is our goal, to try to implement as much best practices as we can at a national level. And next slide. Awesome. Okay, so now our fiscal year 2025 growth, and that is really our mindset, growth, strengthening the foundation, building the momentum that we have in 2024. Unlock Higher Ed has embarked in 2025 with ambitious goals aimed at solidifying its foundation and driving sustainable growth. A key focus for the year is achieving independence by transitioning from its fiscal sponsor to securing its own 501c status. And that will be something that we hope to do in the future. And, we've kind of like figured out the pros and cons of it. But I feel that for the purpose of the support that we need, for the purpose of the reach that we are trying to intend to obtain, it is vital that we become an entity where we can provide our own, we can ask for our own funding and seek those sources that will be able to elevate the work that we're trying to do here. And this step will enhance Unlock Higher Education's autonomy and capacity to manage its resources and operations. And we have to thank, again, as Mickey said, P2P for really holding the front of this Unlock Higher Education since its inception. So they've been our fiscal year from the very beginning. And I think it's time that we start growing up. That's what we're trying to do. So additionally, this transition will allow Unlock Higher Education to begin building its own identity and mission, separate from its fiscal sponsor of P2P, by making strides towards standing on its own as a coalition. Unlock Higher Ed is laying the groundwork for a future of independence, leadership, and sustainable impact. And why I say leadership is so important, but also sustainability, we are looking for leadership. We're looking for participants that are going to be consistent, that are going to be available, and that are really committed to this hard work, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is hard work. Barbie will tell you it is hard work, and you really need to have a heart and a passion for it and the commitment, because there's plenty of work to do and the results are not always seen quickly or as fast as we want them. So there's that perseverance and that consistency that needs to happen for any of this work to get done. So we're looking for that kind of individuals. Additionally, the priorities for 2025 include committee development. Unlock Higher Ed is investing in rebuilding and rounding out its committees to ensure that they're well equipped to execute the organization's strategic goals, putting the same time and effort that was taken with the overall organization. Enhanced membership engagement, as I mentioned, by expanding membership benefits and creating opportunities for active participation. Unlock Higher Ed aims to cultivate a stronger and more involved community. So again, we have a membership of over 500. We want to make sure that that membership is committed, that membership is actively participating. Policy and advocacy expansions. Unlock Higher Ed plans to deepen its advocacy efforts by organizing an additional Hill Day for 2025, both at the federal and then continuing on at the state level, and strengthening collaboration with allied organizations. And we feel that we're a place of collaboration. I can't mention it enough. And I feel that leaders are in a mindset of collaboration, not competition. And so if that's your mindset, then you're welcome in this group. And educational outreach and public awareness, leveraging the YouTube channel and other digital platforms. Unlock Higher Ed will continue to share its mission and impact, while also producing educational content that highlights the transformative power of higher education. So we want to start also highlighting that power, that transformations, the successes that we sometimes, even the small successes should be highlighted, because again, this is really hard work. So we can't overpass or not really acknowledge those small successes. Strategic partnerships and funding. Unlock Higher Ed will actively pursue partnerships with like-minded organizations and explore new funding opportunities to support its programs and initiatives. We will re-engage past partners for the purpose of reinvigorating past relationships and continue to work on expanding new ones. So that is our goal for 2025. This is what our vision for the future is. We remain steadfast in our commitment to unlocking higher education opportunities for justice-impacted individuals. That may be individuals inside while incarcerated, but also individuals returning home. By centering the voices of those with lived experience, we feel the organization seeks to dismantle the systemic barriers, foster equity, create pathways to brighter futures. With a clear vision and a strong foundation, Unlock Higher Ed is poised to continue its growth and impact, championing the belief that education is the key to transformation and empowerment and equitable living standards, right? Because ultimately, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to have an equitable living standard. So the road of education, whether it is higher education from an academic, but even vocational, we support that kind of skill set so that people can have better opportunities and not being left in the fringes and left behind. As Unlock Higher Ed advances through 2025 and beyond, it will strive to expand its leadership and members network to reflect a diverse and inclusive range of perspectives, develop innovative programs to address the unique needs of justice-impacted individuals. And as we grow in our YouTube channel, you will see those workshops on there. You will see those discussions on there as well. Advocate for policy reforms that promote access to higher education and reduce recidivism rates. Enhance its digital presence to reach wider audiences and amplify its message of hope and opportunity. Any questions so far?
I have a question. Is the best way to join the committee? I filled out the form on the website expressing my interest for the state committee. Is that the best way to do it, or should I email the chair directly? I haven't heard back, so I know it's crazy time of semester. So what do I think is going to happen? But I just want to know if I did the right thing.
No, and you did the right thing. You
Okay.
should have done an automated response. Go ahead, Mickey.
Oh, you're muted.
You're mute, Mickey.
Drat, I get caught. My apologies. That's not a problem at all. And I'm so glad you did join the state committee. Did you get an automated response inviting you to a Google?
That's a good question. I don't know if I did. Now I want to search and see if I did.
Yes. And once you join, once you fill out the form to request for a subcommittee to be part of them, you should be getting an automated response where it will give you the meeting code so that you can join.
No, I didn't get that. No, because I would have done that already and I didn't get that.
All right.
That's perfectly fine. So let me do this. I will look through and see what happened after the meeting. Can you please give me your email address in the direct message it to me, and I will make sure that it works itself out.
Absolutely. Let me
Trust
see.
me, you will get emails from me. You'll love emails from me. You'll recognize my name all the time. I love emailing people and talking.
Okay. I did it to the UHE admin. Is that okay?
That's perfect. That's who I am. I
Okay.
try to hide behind the scenes so no one knows, but we will work that out for you. And I don't even want you to worry about that. I will have a response quickly for you.
And we thank you, Michelle, for
Yeah, no, I did it once before, but I think I did it to the wrong person. And then I realized, okay, let me just use the form. And then I did the form, but nothing happened. So I want, that's why I came today, because I thought, well, maybe I did something wrong. So I really appreciate it. Because
and thank you for pointing that out, because
and I don't know if I think I did it correctly, but I really want to participate. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. And again, it's about building organizational identity, right? Through branding and strategic visioning. Unlock IR will try to create a clear and compelling identity that resonates with the stakeholders, that resonates with their membership, and underscores the commitments of transforming the lives of those we're trying to reach, right? The lives of those that we're trying to impact. So we're not just an organization, it is a movement dedicated to breaking barriers and building futures. That's how we see ourselves. And we're just providing the space, the platform for people to come and discuss how that movement should be headed, where the best practices are happening, so that we can learn from that or even change and, make it even better if that's, if that's what's needed. Together with its members, supporters, and allies, Unlock Higher Ed will continue to drive meaningful change and inspire others to believe in the power of education and how education transforms individual lives. That's it for me, guys. I really, really want to thank you guys for, showing up today and being part of this meeting. And I'm excited about 2025. There's going to be a lot of changes, but I think there's going to be good changes. And, I rather see 10 really committed people than 500 that are not. Because that's where the change happens, right? That's where the drive comes in. That's where the work that gets started is followed through and finished. Any other questions?